Hi there, my name is Josh Robbins and I am doing a presentation based on an artist in the British music industry for which I chose Calvin Harris.
Can you stay up for the weekend?
This, what you can hear there in the background is an example of his work released in 2009, but we'll get onto that in a wee while. So, bio of Calvin, he was born Adam Richard Willis, which clearly isn't a very DJ name, so you can kind of see why he changed it. He was born in Dumfries in Scotland. I'm not going to try to do an accent. And growing up he supported, he was a massive football fan and supported Queen of the South, and his idol at the time was Steve McManaman, but he claimed that his lack of long curly hair put him off playing football, so instead he moved to music. So he sort of growing up, he sort of had a variety of different jobs. So he worked in a food factory at like sort of 15, 16, and also a supermarket. A fish factory, not a food factory, you know what I meant. And then at, I do believe it was the age of about 16, 17, he moved to London to pursue a career in music. And he got his break in 2006 when he signed for, he signed for 3 different labels. The first was 60 Group, who sort of dealt with management. Then EMI, who dealt with publishing, and Sony BMI, who sort of dealt with the recording aspect of it. So if we briefly go through his discography, we started with the 2007 album I Created Disco, which he didn't because it was from the 70s, but nonetheless. This album got to number 8 and featured such singles as Acceptable in the 80s, which got, I think, top 10 in the UK, and The Girls, which again, sort of top 10. Yeah. Then he moved on to his 2009 album, which was entitled Ready for the Weekend, after the single, which strangely, it was kind of a catastrophe that didn't get to number 1, it got to something like number 4. And this song that you can hear in the background was on the album as well, I'm Not Alone, his first ever UK number 1, as well as the album getting to number 1 as well. And an interesting story about this was that in 2008 he claimed that he lost his luggage and laptop, which had the one and only copy of the album on the laptop, and he claimed he lost it at Heathrow Terminal 5. And it turns out that although he did lose his luggage, the laptop was perfectly safe. It was just a marketing ploy to give him more time for the album. We then moved on to 18 Months, which was released in, I do believe, 2012. The reason it was called 18 Months was because it took him 18 months to record it. Quite clever, really. It included singles like Bounce, which was the first off the album, UK number 2. Apologies, the music's run out and I don't have any more. We had Feel So Close, which, did that get to number 1? I don't believe it did. We Found Love with Rihanna, obviously got to number 1, and then there's loads more. It was the first ever album in the UK to have 9 singles to get to the top 10 in one album. It beat Michael Jackson, who had 8. And then more recently, in 2014, he released Motion, which was, I forgot to mention by the way, that 18 Months the album got to number 1. Motion has had ridiculous success. It was knocked off number 1 by, I can't remember who beat it actually in November. But it's had a ridiculous amount of number 1 singles on it, so Under Control, Blame, and a couple of others, and the one with Ellie Goulding, Outside, got top 5 as well. As well as Open Wide, which got sort of top 30 with Big Sean. So the production process, it's quite It's quite simple, really, the production process, because as he's a DJ, he sort of does all the. He's always done the instrumentals to all the tracks like electronically on his computer, but the way the sort of vocals have been done is slightly different, because in the first 2 albums he mainly provided the vocals, but then in 2011-2012 he came out and said that he actually hated his own voice and wished he could never do that again. So he got lots of different artists on the albums, but then weirdly, in Motion, he then did his own song Summer, so maybe he changed his mind. The audience profile, fairly simple really, people about my age, so sort of, I'd say from about 13 to sort of mid-20s, but mainly sort of 16 plus, people that sort of go to clubs and stuff like that, who sort of like the idea of on a Friday or Saturday night getting drunk and raving a lot, which if you don't know what that means, it's just dancing ridiculously, and sort of not caring what anyone has to think about it really. So sort of critics and the public's response to him, well, he's won a ridiculous amount of awards in his time. He's been nominated for multiple Brits and NME Awards and MTV. He's won so many. As I said, he's had a ridiculous amount of UK #1s, and whilst touring, he's become the biggest, sort of the highest earning DJ in the world for the last 2 years. So this kind of suggests that the public absolutely adore him. So yeah, and critics seem to like him a lot as well. Basically, the world just loves Calvin Harris. I mean, you know, who wouldn't? He's amazing. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation. Any questions, anybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has he been involved in any controversy in his career?
He's actually probably one of the most controversial people in the music industry. You may remember in 2010, I think it was, he ran on X Factor, interrupted an act. I think it was someone like Joe McElder or something. No, it was 2009. Jedward, that was the one. And he ran on stage with a pineapple on his head. Security then sort of threw him out. And he's sort of done loads of stuff like that, and he was in the press loads last year actually, where he wrote the song "Oh I Never Let You Down." He wrote and produced it with Rita Ora, and because they then ended up splitting up, he sort of made the news a lot, because he sort of, obviously because he was the writer and producer, he was asked if she was allowed to perform it at various sort of events like the MTV VMAs, and he basically said no to every one of them, but being like an idiot, he said no like a week before the event, so she was getting ready, and then bam, it was gone, so yeah.
Did Summer get #1?
Summer did, yes, that was the one I forgot actually. It was the second off of Motion to get #1.
So what's he doing now? Is he still out there and writing? I mean, is he working on a new album?
He's just finished the tour of America. He did the Jingle Ball. He starts another tour in March, so I imagine he'll be in the studio again doing work now. He's got a gap on his calendar sort of now till March, so yeah.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Great. Well done. Informative.